when we were doing like She's the One, I remember Michael Gracie came in, I was like 400 takes into this one line, and like I was like, oh God, like I was like scared Robbie would come in because I was like, oh Lord.
But let's say good morning to Mr. Adam Tucker.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Adam.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I heard you got a lot of questions for me.
I've got so many questions.
Yeah.
So, you are the man that sings like Robbie Williams in Robbie Williams' new movie.
That is it, yeah, that is me. I have this kind of weird talent that I can kind of sound like Robbie Williams quite naturally.
When did you know that you sounded like Robbie Williams?
Well, he used to play in a band with a guy, and he always used to say I sounded like Robbie Williams. Like every gig we used to kind of finish, like with Angels at the end, as most bands do, and in weddings. And yeah, he always used to turn around and say like, oh, if I close my eyes, it sounds like Robbie Williams. And you really sound like Robbie Williams. And I was just kind of like, I used to play it off, and he used to kind of just say it all the time.
But did he say, was it when you sang Angels only, or was it when you sang other stuff?
I think it kind of trickled into all the other stuff eventually. He was like, oh, your voice just sounds so much like Robbie's. And he's like Robbie doing covers of like, I don't know, some of the...
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon and whatever. Yeah, like Valerie and stuff like that. So,
and did you take it as a compliment?
Oh, mate, yeah, I love Robbie. Like, I've listened to Robbie since, well, I mean, I'm 30 now, and I think he released Angels when I was like 3.
Wow.
Or 4.
God.
So that's all I've known.
Yeah.
So he's been like, I mean, my family listened to Robbie. We always listen to Robbie. He's just always been there,
Yeah.
Part of my musical kind of repertoire in like sort of bands and stuff like that. So never sort of not been a fan sort of thing. So yeah.
So let's go back. So you studied music in Leeds.
I did, yeah. Big up Leeds. I did actually see you in Leeds once.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was in the is it the Trinity Centre, I think, and I walked through there. I did see you in the distance. I didn't call your name. I didn't want to embarrass you.
What was I doing? Was I drunk?
You're just shopping. You just
on my own.
Yeah, on your own.
Oh,
doesn't sound like.
What were you buying? I wonder. It doesn't matter.
I might have been at the Leeds United shop.
Possibly.
Yeah. Leeds United.
I might have been in the Leeds United shop.
Could have been.
So you did that. So obviously that's what you want to do. You want to do music, and then you got with the Leeds Contemporary Singers.
Oh yeah. So that was just a group of mates from uni. Yeah, we were just kind of like a group of singers and used to kind of gig about in Leeds. And then you entered the pitch battle, which was the BBC talent contest. And did you win it? You won it. Yeah, we won it. Yeah,
Great.
They only showed one season of it, so that's how good it was. But hey, we won it.
Because nobody else could beat you.
Well, exactly. You've set the bar too high. That's what it was.
Still a champion.
The bar was too high,
exactly.
Yeah, clearly.
And what happened to the Leeds Contemporary Singers?
It was like 8 of us, and I think everyone wanted to do something kind of a bit different.
Yeah.
And people left uni because we were all at Leeds College of Music together. And yeah, we just kind of split up really, just because, trying to get 8 people in a room who all wanted to do different things and be their own like artists was nearly impossible. And some of them are doing amazing things now. I think one of the guys, Akin, he now sings with Stormzy.
Wow,
great.
Yeah, and some other people are doing some really great
Is Stormzy aware that he used to be basically the Yorkshire version of Glee?
Probably not. I don't know.
We'll let him know, shall we?
We've exposed him now.
Yeah.
And are you a full-time singer?
Yeah, I sing full time. I play in bands. I play in a lot of wedding bands, and now I do a lot of Robbie songs, as you can imagine. But yeah, I'm a full time singer. I've been a songwriter and an artist for years. Obviously, this is just kind of like the first big thing that other than kind of pitch battle, is kind of the first thing that I've been able to kind of get my name on that's kind of elevated me a little bit. So yeah, I've always been like a singer-songwriter since I can remember, really, since I got my first guitar.
So what do you do now? Because obviously, if you want to be a singer-songwriter, you want to be known for being Adam Tucker, who writes his own songs and sings his own songs. However, you now are in a movie that got released around the world where you sing as Robbie very, very convincingly. So if I was your agent, not your manager, but if I was your agent, I'd be like, you are basically going to be Adam Tucker, the Robbie Williams man, and that's what you're going to do for the next few years. You're going to make loads of money. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's definitely an option. I think, like, it's been, there's been a lot of opportunities come out of that, and especially to kind of like do gigs with Robbie songs. But a lot of people are interested in hearing my own stuff, really. I think people are quite inquisitive about that on social media. Like, I've just co-written a song that's going to come out in February, and I think because obviously of the status of this kind of film and what's happened, they've kind of given me the opportunity to work with some really, really cool people. So I actually co-wrote it, and a guy called Patrick Neil Doyle, who's the son of Patrick Doyle, who obviously done the Harry Potter stuff, has composed the song. And then a guy called James Kenosha, he's produced it. So he's like done Birdie and all sort of big artists. So I've been able to kind of get to these people through the film. So
this is you singing?
This is me singing my like a co-written song that I've obviously, and I think my tone of my voice sounds like Robbie, like just naturally. Yeah. Obviously in the film I do put on, don't get me wrong, we spent a long time in the studio trying to sound like Robbie, but ultimately, like, I think that's the goal, I think. But obviously if we play live, I'm gonna have to put a few Robbie songs in there that that's why people want to come see me. So I'll please the fans in that way and show my own music.
You've not always sounded like Robbie Williams, to be fair, though.
You know that I could use somebody.
Oh my.
'Cause I've been roaming around, always looking down, and all I see.
Oh, that's nice, though, that.
When you wish you've deleted things off YouTube.
No. Adam, that sounds nice, I think. How long ago was that?
I'll tell you. Do you want me to tell you?
Go on.
2010.
Wow.
2010. That was the first. I remember that was like the first song that I like recorded and then put out on like YouTube or in the public. Before that, I'd never recorded anything like of me singing. I've been in bands and stuff, but never like actually released anything online. So now people are going to flock to that. And well, thanks for bringing that up. But it's.
I like to build people up and drag them back down again.
Exactly.
Okay, so talk to me. So I've heard a story of how you got it, but I always like to know the full thing. So how do you go from singing in bands and sounding a bit like Robbie, and then getting to the movie? How does it happen?
Well, like most things, it sort of starts British things, it starts in a pub. And it's my friend who said I used to sound like him, who I was in a band with. He moved to London, and he lives next door to a guy who's an agent or like a fixer in films called Ben. And he was casting he was looking for a singer who sounded like Robbie. He got word because he works alongside a guy called Ben Parry, who works out of Abbey Road.
Right.
So Ben Parry is like, I mean, if you've heard Lord of the Rings and all these soundtracks, he does all the choral stuff on it. So he runs a thing called London Voices, I think it's called.
Right.
And they always get jobs in, like constantly getting jobs in for like, I don't know, any type of singer, or it might be like really weird jobs as well. Like, I need a Mexican woman who sounds like this or something like that. So that Robbie job came in. Just my friend was talking to his neighbour in the pub. I think they're doing pub quiz. And he was just like saying, I don't suppose you know anyone who sounds like Robbie Williams.
Hold
he goes,
on,
actually.
This is that.
I don't suppose.
That is so random. You're having a beer with somebody and they go, how's things? Yeah, good at the moment. We're doing this between you and me. Don't say anything. We're doing this Robbie Williams film. So I've got to try and find somebody who sounds like early Robbie Williams. I suppose you know anyone, do you? Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I do.
Weirdly, yes.
And he sounds, he's called Adam. Yeah, you should, Adam. Yeah, I'll check him out. Next thing is, you've got the gig.
That's a bit of fate, isn't it?
That literally, I think the conversation, that was very close to the conversation that they probably had. And he just kind of like, it's so random. Like, it was literally like, you know, Ben didn't call me up initially. It was my mate Ed, who I've been in band with. He's like, oh, you'll never guess what. And I was like, go on. He's like, you know, I used to say he sounded like Robbie Williams. He's like, you might. I've got you a step closer to being him. I was like, oh.
And you're like, oh, I'm not doing some tribute band, mate. I don't want to. And they're like, no, it might be better than that.
It's more of a blockbuster film idea, really.
So they listen to you sing, and then they go, okay, you've got the gig. Do you want the gig? And
yeah, I mean, the process took like ages and ages. Like, I think like they must have. I don't know how many people they auditioned. I mean, I spoke to the vocal coach, and he was saying like there was hundreds and hundreds of people who obviously they put it out to America, Australia, everywhere. So I guess, yeah, it was a long process. I mean, like, I obviously done like, it was all like online because obviously they're Australian, like Michael Gracie and his team are all Australian. So they're Australian production company. So I auditioned at like midnight or something. Woke all the neighbours up singing Angels.
And what was the reason for not using Robbie in a film about Robbie?
Yeah, well, he sort of says actually in an interview, I heard him say like, you know, like as you get older, like your voice changes in like timbre, and like obviously like he used to be, you know, he used to be able to like his voice obviously sounded very different.
Yeah,
and you know,
high notes.
Yeah, well, you know, he still sings the songs in the original keys. Like, he still absolutely blasts them out. But I think it's just like the tone of his voice has changed.
Yeah,
it obviously develops over time and, you know, it changes. And, yeah, they kind of wanted someone who sounded like a younger version of him. And obviously, like, you know, people keep saying, like, oh, well, why didn't they use, like, the original versions? Well, the songs, if you hear them, are like completely different tempos. Some of them are different keys, and obviously they mean something different. There's like acting in it as well. So yeah, that's where they got me in to kind of almost like not pull you out of the film, because I think if you heard like Robbie kind of sounding a little older when he was auditioning as a 16-year-old,
yeah, that's a good point. Like, actually, you'd be a bit
like
yeah.
It'd be really jarring. So I guess like that's why, they put me in there. And then obviously like he does sing in the film. Like there are bits where he sings in the film. There's bits where we both sing in the film and in the same songs.
Oh, really?
Mad, yeah.
So, because that's the thing. Like it's a great film, by the way. It's a really good film. And congratulations, by the way, on your #1 album.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
If you can see me.
Yeah. Oh, there's his official charts #1.
Right. Look at that.
There you go. But I actually get so this is actually the downloads one.
Right.
But I do get a gold one now. So I've got to get another one. So yeah, this is one of two. So yeah.
So on the album, Rock DJ is Robbie. And Come Undone is you.
Yeah, so like a lot of these versions are like, so the film and the sound, like Robbie has also re-recorded some stuff for the soundtrack. Like Something Beautiful is like a full version that he recorded. I think he done like Land of 1,000 Dances. He added bits into it. So he's done quite a lot additional work other than the film as well.
Right, okay.
So obviously then he releases that as his album. And so like a lot of it is actually like, so the film is quite, I wouldn't say different. It's the same songs, but obviously it's like an amalgamation of our voices. And also, I cannot myself tell in some of the songs when I'm singing, when he's singing, and that's my voice.
That's incredible. That's when you know it works.
Testament to the guys who obviously mixed it and like the team and stuff. And you know, like we did spend honestly hours in the studio. Just
and
like
you though, a testament to you as well.
And you wouldn't have been able to tell anybody you were doing this. So what's the length of time are we talking about here? Like a year or so?
So I auditioned initially in like February 2023.
Wow.
I think, and then got the part in May, and we just like hit the studio straight away. And so like since then, and then like pretty much from then until like Christmas time, really.
So that was your job then.
Yeah, like I literally was in.
But you couldn't say anything to anybody.
Like people were like wondering where I'd bloody gone.
So people are like, "Hey, you're around next week? Want to do?" And you're like, "I'm not around." Oh, do you want to do the week after? Yeah, it's a bit tight. Why? What are you doing? I just work and.
I should have said like I'm joining like the MI5 and I just can't tell anyone.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
that would have been a bit easier. But yeah, no, I just kind of had to keep it like secret.
To be fair, if you'd have told the truth, people would have just gone, yeah, actually, don't say anything, but I'm being Robbie Williams in a movie about Robbie Williams. Yeah, of course you are, Adam. About the week after that. You'd be like, okay. So then you see it, and like, so without giving too much away about the film that everyone needs to go and see if you haven't seen it already, but My Way is pretty much the last track in it when you did the show at the Albert Hall. Now that's you.
Both of us.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
Did you ever sing in front of him in the studio?
No. So actually, no, I haven't sung in front of him. I don't know if I could, to be fair. That'd been like the weirdest thing, like me replicating someone else's voice and like being like there in the studio. I mean, it was like when we were doing like She's the One, I remember Michael Gracie came in, I was like 400 takes into this one line, and like I was like, oh God, like I was like scared Robbie would come in because I was like, oh Lord. But yeah, no, it is, I think, you know, it's such a weird thing to do.
Oh, sorry, I just spoke over the top of you. Sorry. We've got some clips. And
do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
Just to hear you singing.
Well, we've got you. I don't think this is necessarily from the film, but we've got you singing.
'Cause we got stars directing our fate, and we're praying it's not too late. 'Cause we know we're falling from grace, millennium.
It's your phrasing. Some of it is scarily spot on.
I'm contemplating
that
I'm contemplating, thinking about thinking.
That's weird, Adam.
Very good.
So like when we were in the studio, one of the things we would do is like you would like hear his, like, obviously in your voice you have the vibrato. I would literally have to copy his vibrato, and obviously everyone's vibrato is naturally different.
Yeah.
So like you're going into like these weird details of like, you know, going like hard in. So like to do these impressions now, it just is so easy to do it now. It just comes out.
But because that's really, because you're a singer, so you absolutely have over the years built your way of singing. So it's not just as it might be now, but it's not just as, you don't just do an impression of someone. You've got to almost change the way you sing to the way they sing and sound like Rob at the same time.
Yeah, you kind of like build up these habits of singing, and like the way that you sing high notes will be different. And I'm like singing these things, I'm like, I would never have chosen to pronounce a word like that, or I would have never chosen, you know, because ultimately the tone of our voice is the same. So it was just changing that kind of like, not necessarily like the accent, but yeah, like the phrasings and stuff like that. And like the kind of, it's so minute, like the detail that you would go into would be like we would have to, so we would be in the studio and we'd have to phonetically write out what we thought. and what they would do is there'd be like 3 or 4 people in the control room, and they'd all write it out phonetically, all give me their sheets, and then I'd sing it, and then we'd like choose which was the closest.
Wow. So real science to it, isn't it? It's mad.
The guys who we work with, because obviously like it's the team who produce like Greatest Showman. So like as you can imagine, like it's like the best of the best sort of people, and you know they're just like, they're geniuses. And Owen, a guy called Owen Mallon, who's basically like the vocal coach to the Stars, he was the guy who vocal coached me, and we literally were together. You know, we were in the studio for like God knows 150 hours or something, but then we would then spend time out of the studio together, rehearsing. He was like, don't worry, one day it will click. And then it just clicked, and then you're like, oh, it all makes sense now. But you're forcing it. It's like, you know, you're just like, I mean, I don't know how like people like, you know, like Taron Egerton, when he'd done obviously Rocket Man and stuff like that, like it's just so much time. Like I couldn't imagine being an actor as well in it.
Taron Egerton.
I've never heard of him. Listen, it's a great thing. It's an amazing bit of work, and now that's around forever, and it's got you a #1 album, and it's what a brilliant thing, Adam. Well done.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And big up Kings Lynn, Adam, as well. I was born in Norfolk, so, you know, representing Kings Lynn.
I have a little anecdote about Kings Lynn, actually, and it involves yourself, Chris. I actually saw you in 1998 at Hunstanton. At the Your Last Place of Works roadshow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that when you got your community award?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. We'll email you about that.
And also, my ex-girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend's dad used to drive you around.
What? Wow.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off now because it's getting a little bit weird. Adam, what's your Instagram?
It is the Adam Tucker.
Oh, it used to be Adam Tucker.
Now it's
the Adam Tucker.
Yeah, upgrade.
Yeah.
Big time.
The Adam Tucker. And your song is coming out in February.
Yep.
Okay, all right, we'll look out for that. Mate, pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me on and asking some great questions.
Mate, I loved it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam Tucker. Yeah. Cheers, Adam.
Radio